with these types of things in a more intensification and more frequency, and shit's going to get bad. And if a war does kick off, you think for a minute, you think that that ain't going to affect the markets. I had students that were in my mentorship talking to me about how they don't want to hear about this shit. I'm here to learn how to trade. Listen, motherfuckers, this is what's going to cause these markets to move around. I understand you're new. I understand that you can't understand every simple thing in the world that's going to have a major impact, like a war. Just because it's in another country doesn't mean it won't have reverberations in the marketplace. It's absolutely going to fucking fuck up some shit. Let's just be real for a moment. What the fuck happens? What happens when a small tactical nuke falls right in fucking downtown New York? You think they're going to open this fucking stock market up? What happens if you're in a trade like I was on September 11th in the S&P? Coming home after taking my son to school because I had joint custody. Beautiful day. I'm telling you, I remember it like it was like yesterday. Beautiful day. I'm driving down Mace Avenue. I'm thinking to myself, man, it's a gorgeous day. This is a good day. I was talking to a gentleman named George Lutz. If you Google him, you'll find out that his son, who I was trying to talk him out of that day of joining the military, he was telling me, yeah, my son's joining the military. I said, George, please. I was teaching how to trade S&P. I said, please, talk him out of it. He goes, no, it's good. We come from a military background. Our family, it's it's something. I understand what you're saying, but we're all in full support of it. And I had this unction come over me, this deep, like I gotta tell him not to do it. And I was literally, before I went to take my son to school, that's what I was doing. And when I came home, hit the remote control on my TV, and I just realized I'm talking to you about something that may not even be that interesting to all of you. If you're not interested, you can go about your business and stuff. But I'm on a rant now, so this is what it is. But I turn my TV on, and I see the first building. The plane had already hit that one. And I thought it was like a preview for a movie. I'm like, oh, look at that. It said, airplane, small airplane, it said. It's World Trade Center building, whatever it was. I'm like, wow, man, that's terrible. Somebody probably just died in that airplane and probably maybe hurt somebody, caused a fire in the building. So it's CNBC, basically, is what I'm watching. I go in there, grab a glass of orange juice. I'm getting my stuff together. And I sign back into Internet Relay Chat. Get George Lutz back on the DM with me, the equivalent of it back then. And I literally watched the second plane go into it live. They didn't open up the stock market that day, folks. And I was stuck in a fucking trade. They didn't open the market up the next day either. Or the next day. And nobody knew what the fuck was going on. Now, you got a country like Russia. You can say what you want about them. But they don't tend to be the pushover type of people, okay? And you got this NATO regime building up around them. And I'm not pro-Russia, I'm not pro-anything. I don't want this shit to happen. I don't want it to happen. But I'm a fucking realist, okay? You gotta at least identify that shit's moving to a point where, there's no better distraction to all the bullshit that we've been enduring for the last 3 years than all of a sudden the 4th of July comes to mainland USA. Something that's never happened before. You want to see people lose their shit? Lose their fucking mind? Go nuts? Let one of those things touch down in this country. And you will see the depravity of humanity the depths of chaos. And if the markets are open, levels of volatility you can't even imagine. Everything would be fucking moving all over the fucking place. And they will halt it. And you can't do shit about it. You're in a position, you're not in a position. You didn't have a stop loss. It won't matter. Russia's not going to sit back and get pushed around and defeated without responding in the only way they can. And they're telling everybody, this is what we're going to do. Not like North Korea. We're going to do this, and we're going to shoot some missiles out in the water. I believe if we push harder and they feel like they have to respond, we're going to see some shit landing in our country. And I'm not ready for it. None of you are. And I'm not trying to instill fear. I'm not paranoid. I'm not worried about it to the degree where it's paralyzing me. But I've been made as ready as I possibly can with the resources that my family uses on a day-by-day basis. And right now, everybody's just quietly going about their business. Nobody has to wear their masks anymore. Some people choose to. Everybody's going back to work. We're watching sports, the Super Bowl. I've never really watched the Super Bowl until the last one. And I thought to myself, well, it's just nothing like I heard everybody talk about the last Super Bowl. It seemed pretty cool. I mean, I didn't like Rihanna's routine. I was afraid she was going to fall off that damn thing. But, I endured it. It didn't seem too bad. But it didn't convert me to be a football fan now. But I'm sitting here thinking to myself, everybody's going about their business, staring into their phones, pretending like this is all normal shit. But haven't you noticed? Maybe you've noticed. You're driving down the road. People have a whole lot more hostility, more aggression, more road rage, reckless, speeding, not giving a shit if they wreck their car, tear up somebody else's stuff. Maybe you're in stores and you're just seeing people just break out into just uncivilized behavior, cussing people out, going into stores and taking whatever the fuck they want and not paying for it. You don't notice these things increasing everywhere? I mean, I live in a pretty good neighborhood and I still see that kind of shit. But it's easy to block it out. Like, it has nothing to do with me. It's happening in somebody else's state, happening in another country. It's not my business. It ain't gonna worry me until it does. What happens with you and your family when shit goes upside down? Do you have a plan for it? Because if you're in this just to make money to buy Lamborghinis and watches and nice clothes so you can look like you're fucking together on social media, and you're not preparing your household. Listen, folks, it didn't stop me when people were quitting my paid mentorship when I was telling them this stuff. I had people literally in tears write me emails and leave voicemails on my cell phone thanking me that they listened because their country shut the fuck down and there was no food in their stores. And they were able to weather it. It hasn't even started yet. If you think that it's over and you just got through it, nope. The only thing it did was they gained ground. They gained ground. That means they got things in the right position, like chess. It's been like this for years. And everything they did for World War I is repeating again right now. But most of you don't even know because you're not even learning history anymore. It's madness. Like, it's madness right now. but you're constantly distracted. We have sports. We have celebrities. We have social media influencers that can entertain us. And I don't want you looking at me like one of them. I'm only spending this year with you because of this type of shit. I want a clear conscience. I've said everything. Like a watchman, I've warned you. It wasn't just my private mentorship people that know it. I've now said it publicly. We're all fucked. Whether you want to believe it, whether you like it or not, we're fucked. So you need to do what you can do to be diligent about learning how to do this, to get a second income. When you make the money, buy the things that your family needs. Non-perishable foods. Can openers that don't run by electric. Medicines that you might need, over-the-counter stuff. Wouldn't hurt to ask your doctor if you have prescription medications to ask for a couple months in advance. Tell them you're going to Hawaii. You're going to be spending time with a relative down there, and you just want to make sure you have an extra supply of it. Because if the supply chain stops and you need it, insulin, heart medication, blood pressure medication. How about prescriptions? When's the last time you had your eyeglasses updated? Let me tell you something. I'm going every 6 months. I'm making sure I got glasses. I need them. I can see far away, but I can't read anything in front of me. And I have books. I have things I need to know and read if I need to refer to something. If I don't have glasses, I'm fucked. I'm light sensitive. I have to have specific prescriptions. I wear sunglasses at night. I need it. Everything that you would see driving down the road or inside of a store looks like a huge starburst in my eyes. I can't tolerate it. It hurts. So I make sure I have glasses. And it protected me. And I had glasses when we couldn't get in to see our optometrist. We couldn't make prescription calls to update, the kids' eyeglasses, because I was proactive about getting them ahead of time. When everybody was laughing and saying, nothing's going to happen, Chicken Little. And we were told, you can't go near anybody. I don't have all the answers, folks. I don't claim to be the genius. I'm not. I'm not a mental giant. I just know what's placed on my heart. I'm sharing it. I've said before, in 2019 and 2020, and I was literally ahead of all this stuff. All of it. I wanted to be wrong. And I wept in the ears of my paid students. And some of them laughed. And that shit got leaked. I'm not ashamed of that. And I'm not afraid to tell you I'm not ashamed here now. What's coming, none of us are ready for. You think these guys on YouTube and social media that are pretending to be something special with their social media candy, their cars, their houses, they're doing this, they're going here, they're doing that, they're wearing this. They're in for a rude awakening. And everybody that's chasing that kind of shit, they're in for it too. We're all going to be lucky if we can find sustenance. Because money ain't going to be the answer. You have to get the money to get the shit that you need. Because wealth ain't going to be a thing. There's no safe place. Crypto, it's fucked. Gold, it's fucked. Silver, fucked. They're going to hit every safe haven. So now you heard it. You know it now. Cat's out of the bag. Every safe haven is going to get fucking hammered. There is no safe place to put money. Money's about to change. It's about to be reinvented. And it ain't going to be a casual, smooth thing. They've only told you central bank digital currencies, so that way you're primed. You know, okay, when we tell you this is the solution to the problem, you're all going to be like, okay, well, at least our government's figured it all out and we have a plan in place. Because I remember them talking about this. So good on them for being proactive when it's where they're leading us anyway. Everything you buy will be monitored. And now money will be able to be turned on and off. You can't make purchases for this thing. You can make purchases for that. You can't spend your money this way, but you can spend it on this. That's control. Cash. Who uses cash? The drug trade, right? What do you think their response is going to be? You think they're just going to sit back and say, well, it was a good run while it lasted? Nope. No way. Some of these dudes are really, really rich. And if they say cash ain't no longer king and your shit ain't worth anything, what's their response going to be? A lot of chaos. A lot of crazy shit. You don't want to fuck with those type of people because they get shit done. Like, you have no idea the shock waves that's coming and everything that's going to be affected. And it might be a source of anxiety hearing this. It may be comic strips to some of you thinking, this is bullshit. It ain't never going to happen. I hope I'm wrong. I want you all to be able to laugh at me. I'm okay with that. I want to be able to say, I was really wrong, man. I'm so thankful that this shit did not happen. But we're about to enter some real science fiction level shit, folks. And maybe if I started this whole thing teaching publicly on YouTube and like I'm doing here on Twitter, if I said, this is what I'm doing this for, you would turn me off. You would never listen. You'd be like, this fucking crackpot. But I knew if I sat with you and I showed you what was going to happen in these charts before it happened, and you know authorship when you see it. How do you think I know all this stuff before it happens? What color's my hat? The average person wouldn't know this. Your bank buddy, friend, relative, they don't know this. Walking through life, seeing other people, oblivious to it, knowing it's coming, and being told, don't talk about it. Don't talk about it. I can't. And I feel better the more I talk. The anxiety I've had for years of wanting to talk about it and warn, and this is why I'm doing it, and this is why I'm doing it, and this is why I'm doing it. I don't care what people think about it anymore. We're long past that shit. When it really starts, when the lights go out and shit starts unloading, It won't be just my family that I'm going to be thinking and worrying about. I'm going to be thinking about all of you. Did you make your house ready? Did you put your affairs in order? Everything is about to change. And it's going to happen with a very abrupt event. I'm not claiming to know what that is, but I know it's coming. And you're all going to know what it is when it happens. You're going to remember these words, this moment, when it happens. This is what he was talking about. We're talking about the 3 largest superpowers on the planet. And the U.S. is fucking around with these people like it's a game. Look what's going on. The U.S. dollar is about to change from the global reserve currency to fucking toilet paper. Little history lesson for some of you who don't know this. Our country went to Saudi Arabia and said, hey, we're going to protect you. Nobody was threatening them. But we said, hey, we're going to protect you. All you have to do in turn is sell all your oil in US dollars. So if they want to buy your oil, they have to be converted to US dollars. And now you're our best friend. What's Saudi Arabia going to do? They're going to be like, oh, well, shit, we saw what you did to Japan. We ain't trying to have none of that. So, okay, we're in business together. Fast forward. We're no longer in the gold standard. Our currency is only worth the rotation because of oil sales. Bullshit. It's printed out of nowhere. Just pull it out of thin air. And we force every other country around the world to buy another country's main staple commodity in our own currency, or else. That's a mafia shakedown, man. Listen, you need some protection. We're going to come by and protect you, but you make sure you have our cut. That's what it's like. And there's a passage that says that at a specific time in the future, there's going to be this coalition of nations that come together. It's going to be unlike anything before. And you hear these people that they beat on the Bible, and they preach, they think they know what Revelation is. They believe they understand prophecy. They believe this and they believe that. They tell you this is the person that's going to be Antichrist. This is the person that's going to be the false witness. This is the person that's going to pretend to be Jesus. This is the person that's going to be God. This is going to be the end of the world. This is Armageddon. This is how it all ends. This is the mark of the beast. All this stuff. And nobody sees that beast that's described with China, Russia, Turkey, soon to be Saudi Arabia, India. All these nations to come together to the BRICS. You know what they're all collectively doing? Snubbing their nose towards the US and the dollar. That's why the dollar, that's why the US isn't shown in Bible prophecy. It's not a factor anymore. But those same countries, the bear, the dragon, all these entities that we understand who they are today. We all know that Russia is the bear. It has 3 ribs in its mouth. That's 3 Slavic nations that it's conquered and took over. But you don't know that because you didn't learn history. It's convenient how they keep that stuff out of there, isn't it? It makes war on one side. It rises up on one side. Every war it ever fought was on one side. You don't know that because you didn't learn history. It's convenient how that works. That fourth dreadful beast is not the New World Order. It's forming with Russia, China, India, soon to be Saudi Arabia, Turkey. And what does it do? It tramples down everything else. Commerce is going to change. Why? Because the dollar is going to be made irrelevant. What is that going to do for you in the United States? Hello? Are you paying attention? I have a lot of money. I'm safe. I got it in my 401k. I don't have a 401k where I feel like I'm safe. That money's going to be hit. When you open up a bank account, have you read all the pages before? No. When you make your deposit, you're giving them ownership of the money. With a promissory note, as long as liquidity is there to provide a reasonable exchange and withdrawal, then they'll give you your money back. But if there isn't an opportunity for that to happen, your money is viewed as an investment in the bank. And the laws were changed, and guess what? Bail-ins are coming. That means the bank says, well, we're not giving you your money, and you deposited in our account, you signed the papers, you gave us ownership of the money, and we can't provide it back to you because there's no liquidity. There's no opportunity for you to get the money out from our hands. We have to keep it. So you made an investment. That's how we're going to classify it, and you're fucked. You all signed over ownership of your money, just like I did and everybody else that has a bank account. That money is not yours until it's in your hands. What happens when you can't get your money out of the bank? Or they put controls, which is what they're all pushing for right now. Who's they? Oh, it's just a boring conversation. It's not important who they are. It's the people that's going to be calling all the shots, not the ones that were elected. Control measures is what they'll call them. You can only take out this much money from the bank each day. They can't do that. Come on, ICT. Yeah, they did it in Greece. You can't take more than 75 euros out. It's coming. They did it in China. They put tanks right in front of their banks. You're not getting your money. But you don't see that on our news in the US. Why? Because they don't want you thinking, well, shit, I better get some money out and buy some things I need. So you're thinking, let me get my cash out and stuff it in my fucking mattress. It ain't going to work like that. At any given time, they can say, effective right now, paper currency is no longer valid. Come on now, ICT, that's bullshit. Mm-hmm. Why do you think every country is speedily rushing in a fast breakneck speed to get ready for a central bank digital currency? Because once they do that, they own your ass. You don't want to listen to what the leadership says? Oh, no problem. Your bank account is no longer working. Who are you going to complain to? It ain't going to matter. You can't beat it, folks. It's coming whether you like it or not. It's coming. You can't stop them. You can't thwart it. You can't vote against it. They're in every government. They're in every country. It's the way it is. It's been a long effort to get to where they're at right now. And it's not going to fail them. They're going to do what they're going to do. You're going to be fighting it. Some people are going to rise up and do dumb shit. We need a 1776. Nah, that ain't going to fix shit. That's exactly what they want. That's exactly What they're hoping everybody does. They stand up there with their Freedom Seed projectiles. Google what that is, you know what I mean? Standing up and watering the tree of liberty. Yeah, well, when that shit starts happening, guess what happens? The military steps in. It won't be our military, but they're going to be wearing our military garb. But they're going to be somebody else's men and women. And they don't follow the Constitution. So when they're splitting your skull open, they're not worried about getting sued for civil rights, violations. Because that's what's coming. I know. I have probably turned a lot of you off. And guess what? That's probably a good thing. Because if you're not ready and you want to pull your head inside your shell like a turtle, I can't be faulted when it happens and you didn't do anything, because you've heard it now. Because it's coming. It is coming. Over the next couple of months, it's going to be undeniable. It's going to speed up. You're going to see things, and it's going to feel like this can't be happening like this. This is unbelievable. Yeah. Yep. And if you're not ready, there's nothing you can do. You don't tell your friends and you don't tell your family how much you got stored up when you get it, because they're not going to believe anything if you try to tell them. They're just going to come to your house and try to take your shit. And that's why it's important to have hardware, things to protect what you got. You don't want to hurt anybody. I don't want to hurt anybody. But I don't want people coming into my house thinking they can come in my house when they're not invited. Read between the lines, because things are about to get real, real dark. And if this is causing anxiety, the best remedy for that, preparedness, taking action, putting your ass to work about getting whatever you can done while you can. I don't want to work a part-time job. I don't want to do that. It might be worth it for you to do it while you can. It don't take long to get a couple years worth of non-perishable food stored up. And that stuff's worth more than gold when you can't get your hands on food. Folks that are my age or older that know history, we recognize some repeating phenomenon in all the shit that's going on. Anyone around 35 or 30, about in that vicinity and time age, it starts to be a blur. And the younger you get from there, all this seems like a crock of shit. Like there's no way that could be like this. Because you young folks, you have been indoctrinated. You've been encouraged to be reckless, show disregard for, being organized. Just all-inclusive social media acceptance, virtue signaling, all this, extra shit. And they've trained you to feel like you can say whatever the fuck you want to say on social media and have no consequence. And they've trained you to be unable to have a face-to-face conversation and feel empathy for someone else. They've made you callous. They've blinded you to the real opportunities that are before you, and they've painted you inside of a small little prison that many of you are hearing me talk through right now. Your whole world is inside that phone. Everything you do, everything you hope to do, where your attention is, and they own and direct that, all from that little box that you pay too much money for each month. And they even remind you and force you to do these updates on your phone that makes it obsolete by design. So that way you go out and buy it again in 2 years. All this shit you fallen victim to. But you all think that you're smart. Like you got it all figured out. These young people, you think you have so much more insight because the technology that you have grown up around is taught you to no longer even be human. The things that my generation and those older than me, you have no idea what it was like for us to grow up in a situation where we would go outside and stay out until the streetlights come on. That's how you didn't see your kids until the streetlights came on. And if you knew your ass wasn't home at the time, you knew you're in trouble. And other people would look out for your other neighbors' children. I wouldn't, and when I had children young, I wouldn't let my fucking kids go out and do the things that I did as a kid because the world's different. You grew up in the tech world. Game Boys, cell phone, social media. Your perception of the world has absolutely been controlled and directed, scripted. My generation, we're Gen Xers. We're the generation that basically will tell you to your face, you're full of shit, go fuck yourself. We're that transitional generation. We saw technology begin. We watched the internet come up. We were there when AOL would, or that handshaking sound that it would make when the modem connected you. Our generation saw that. We watched that birth. And you're walking around feeling like you own everything. And when someone like me and people that are smarter than me share our time, share our insight, our views on how to make sure you're prepared, you're probably not going to hear it like you should because you think you're smarter. You think you're more edgier. You got more technology behind you. Oh, you're an old head. You don't know nothing. I'm hoping that you don't do that with this conversation tonight. Because you don't want to find out that you dismissed something that sounds too far-fetched to be possibly real. But then when you wake up in the middle of it, you feel like a fool because you didn't do anything about it. If you're young and you have the energy and the time to do so, and you can work another job and help your family if you're still living home with mom and dad, some of you are done it. Some of you went to college, couldn't do it, had to move back in with your parents. Hey man, I had to do that with my aunt and uncle. I had to do that. There's no shame in that. That's family. That's what families do. But it's weird you don't see that dynamic in the family element today. Most families are fighting each other, hating each other because of what? Everything that's been going on. They can't afford it. They can't fucking deal with the pressure, the stress. And it hasn't even really started yet. Some of you that asked for opportunities to sit and talk with me, and if you could just meet me and let's go to a pub, let's go to a bar, let's have a drink. I don't drink alcohol. I would just like to sit and talk and pick your brain. If you did, this is the conversation I'd have with you. And you wouldn't want to have this conversation with me. So I've never really wanted the opportunity to present itself. This is what's on my heart. I know what's coming. You have time now. You have opportunity right now. You have resources being given to you for free, experience, wisdom, proof, evidence. What are you going to do with it? You're going to waste it?